Hey everyone, this is Jen and you're watching BPD Woman. On this channel, you will learn how to more effectively live and manage your BPD, CPTSD, or learn to better regulate yourself if you consider yourself a highly sensitive or emotional person. This channel offers you positive solution-based approaches to recovery, drawing on my own experience, both in therapy and in the real world. I was diagnosed 20 years with BPD, but I believe I have lived with the disorder for 30 years. And in that time, I've done about 6 rounds of DBT. I've done books, workbooks. I own and have read and reread every major book. I've done group therapy, one-on-one therapy. You get it. I'm pretty committed. And while I'm not a therapist, and I do recommend that you have one that is trained in personality disorders, I can answer one question that those folks cannot, which is, what is it like to live with BPD? And in doing so, I can offer you the nuances, tricks, and show you how to really put all of those skills into practice and begin to become more effective in your day-to-day. If that all sounds good to you, please hit like, subscribe, share below, and let's get going. In today's video, I want to talk about flakes, fakes, and friends. What's the difference? How do you tell and how do you handle it, especially if you have reactivity or lash out or feel like you might be with people that have a tendency to flake on you or that may trigger your abandonment. You know, it's, I think, everyone's goal that has friends, real friends, that they are considerate, dependable, right? Reliable, that they know the real you, that you feel like you can be yourself when you're with them. And so in today's video, you're going to learn the differences between fakes, flakes, and friends. You're going to learn how to discern how to choose the right people, when to stop communicating with the wrong people, for lack of a better word. And you're also going to learn what not to do when you begin to feel triggered. So let's get going. So it all depends on your definition of what a friend is. Some people see somebody on the street and they consider them a friend. Some people consider neighbors their friends. Everyone has a different definition of what a friend is. For me, a friend is somebody that you could call that would come help you change a tire. A friend is someone that wouldn't judge you even if you've gone back to the same boyfriend 3 times. A friend is someone who would give you hard love and that knows the real you. And if you have BPD, or if you didn't grow up learning how to develop healthy friendships because you were either, moving all the time, or parents didn't want you to come over or want their kids to come over because you grew up in a chaotic environment and they could sense that and they didn't want to send their kids there, of course, who would? And so you may have not developed the skills to become friends or to manage those kinds of friendships. And so you kind of maybe feel like you're, at least I do, I feel like I'm always kind of on the outside looking in, like, I'd like to be part of a group. And, as you get older, making friends becomes more difficult anyway. Sometimes your social situations change, you may need new friends, you may move to a new place. So there's all these different elements that go into trying to make friends with people. And, I really consider those with borderline to be very warm people, very giving people, people that would stop and call 911 if they saw there was an emergency, people that would intervene. I see them as people with tons of empathy who want to do the right thing and they really want to be accepted. Sometimes that turns over into people pleasing or codependency, but in a healthy way, it just is a warm, loving, considerate person. And if you are like that, like I just described, but then you also don't have a lot of friends and you seek out new friendships, then you may find yourself entering relationships that aren't good for you, or that you're unsure of, or maybe that don't make you feel fulfilled. And so for me, a friendship, like I said, is something where, hey, we get together, we make plans, we keep them, and there are definitely a few relationships that I have right now where I thought we were friends, but I'm finding them more fakey flakies. And I think, you know, for the purposes of this video, a fake or a flake can kind of be the same thing, interchangeable. So let's try to just break down, like, you know, what characteristics friends are and what characteristics flakes and fakes are, okay? So first of all, friends remember your important dates, right? For instance, my dog had surgery on a tooth a couple of weeks ago. I told 3 people, you know, who know my dog and, you know, who I've considered friends, and only one of them remembered that she was having surgery, and they checked in. Hey, how's Xena doing? You know, one girl that I thought, she actually lives in the building, she knows the dog, she probably sees my dog more than any other dog, she has 2 dogs, she didn't even remember. I had to bring it up. So friends remember your important dates. They may remember what, you know, your mom's name is. They may remember when there's something important coming up for you. Flakes don't. Flakes don't care. You're not on their radar. They're more interested in, I don't know, something else, but it's definitely not you if they're a flake. Friends are yes, and I'll be there, where flakes are sometimes maybe not sure, I don't know, let's look at a date. You know, I'm of the opinion that if you want something to happen, you make it happen, right? If the desire is great enough, then you'll make it happen. Friends are people that you feel like you can open yourself up to, make mistakes in front of, that you walk away from and you don't feel like they're talking about you. And fakes can be identified if you feel like you can't be yourself around them, or you feel like you walk into a room and they're talking about you, or, you know, you walk away and you see one whisper into the other. That's a good indicator. Friends ask you how you're doing. Fakes and flakes don't. They just, it's a kind of scratch the surface kind of thing, where fakes don't really bother. Friends check in on you even when they have nothing to gain, right? You know, how are you? What's up? Sorry, I've not been in touch. How are things on your end? Fakes will reach out to you when they need something, right? And so this is a really good indicator for me in identifying when somebody's a flake. For instance, you know, I have someone in the building who wants me to watch their dogs, and, you know, I keep trying to schedule a day that we can all go to the amusement park. And we've talked about it, and it seems like she has a bunch of other stuff planned that she can put forth and do. But a few times that I've asked her, she will, oh, I don't know, or, oh, what date do you want to do? I like never get an answer, right? And so when I do start to hear from her, usually I'm like, okay, what does she want? Right? Like, okay, what is it? You know, this happened today. There's a girl who's my neighbor, and she's a teacher, and she's just working a part-time job over the summer, so she's not working right now, right? She primarily you know, I've seen her down at the pool during the day, and so haven't talked to her in a while, but she went on a vacation earlier in the summer, and, you know, we thought, okay, when you get back, we'll do something together. So today she called me, and I answered because I thought, okay, there's something wrong at the apartment. Like, maybe the fire department's there. I don't know. So I picked up, and she just wanted to know, like, about something that had happened at the 7-Eleven. Like, someone accidentally ran their car into the front door of the 7-Eleven. Instead of reverse, they had the car in forward. So that was the first time I've heard from her in weeks, you know. No text, no how you doing, you know, none of this other stuff. And, you know, there was a time when I had blocked her, just because I felt like she was super fakey and, you know, flaky, and it just, I don't know, it didn't make me feel good. And when she called me, she's like, oh yeah, I'm in the car with my friend right now, and okay, well, thanks for letting me know. And so I texted her. I thought, okay, at one point I've unblocked her, that's why she was able to call me today. And I texted her, I was like, hey, how would you feel about going, this is a different person now, I said, hey, how would you feel about going to an amusement park this summer? And she's like, oh, she responded right away, she's like, oh, that sounds really fun, but I don't think that I'm gonna have a day off to do it. And I wrote back, you can't take a day off? Like, aren't you off for another month? You're not working full time at your other job, right? And like 45 minutes went by and like she said nothing. It's like, you know what? So in my mind, I was just like, the next time that you need something or you want to know what's going on in the neighborhood, don't call. And you know what? She's not going to call because I blocked her again. And this is another thing, right? We often trust our instincts on certain things, and then we betray ourselves by doing the opposite, right? We make a decision like, I'm not going to hang out with this person anymore. They don't make me feel good. And then we hang out with them. And then what happens? We feel crappy. And then we get mad. For me, I will be like, I'll finally say to myself after many times of being turned down, not many times, but, or somebody being wishy-washy with me on making plans, I'll be like, I'm not going to ask them to make plans anymore. And then I may ask them in a time like, hey, you want to make plans to do something like the amusement park? And, oh, I'm not sure, blah, blah, blah. And then I get mad at myself, right? And so this is a thing that we do. And, if you've suffered from years of invalidation, which at the heart of BPD it's a ton of invalidation, then you probably don't trust those instincts. So do trust those instincts. So again, fakes check in when they need something, and flakes check in when they need something, or friends don't. Friends know the real you. They know the dark stuff, Fakes and flakes, you don't know much about them at all. I know from some of these people that I've described, where they're from, what their boyfriends' names are. I don't know what makes them tick, I feel sometimes like it's a forced fake conversation. Or, how a therapist might talk to you like, oh, yes, I had a great day as well. I don't know. It doesn't feel authentic. Fakes agree with everything that you say, really because they don't care. When I don't care, I'm just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Maybe you can relate to that. Where a friend will challenge you. And if a friend can't be challenged, then is that the kind of person that you want to be with, right? I mean, I've had friends be like, hey, you need to stop drinking. This is decades ago. And I didn't want to hear that noise. But then eventually I realized on my own that they were right, So real friends will challenge you, where fakes agree with you or they don't care. Again, you don't know much about them. Friends are commit, If you've locked in something, that they're very reliable and committed to doing that. I had in the past, a very bad reputation of being unreliable. And now I have a super hardcore reputation of being reliable. So friends will be reliable, where fakes look for reasons to flake. That's just how it is. You can almost, count on it. Or they'll give you excuses like, oh, I don't know when, let me check the calendar, I'm not sure. Or they'll just turn you down. Hey, do you want to come over for a barbecue on this date? No, I'm not available. Where a friend tries to find a date and time that works for both of you. Hey, I can't do that, but what about this, right? That's how I know like somebody's like really a friend, is when they try to find an alternate time to connect with you. Fakes just say, I'm not sure, and then they just disappear into the chasm of Never Never Land, right? Yeah, I think those are like my main distinguishing factors. And I've definitely felt over the last few weeks a few flakes becoming more flaky than friendly, and that's okay. I have found myself getting angry about it or hurt. Never in all of this, though, have I thought there's something wrong with me. I'm just like, okay, well, then you're not worth my time. That's fine. It's frustrating because I would like to have more of a base of friends to do things with. Of course, I miss out on that. But I don't blame myself. I certainly don't take it as an insult to who I am. And other things to avoid doing, don't lash out, right? Don't get angry. Trust your instincts when you're regulated. So for instance, I've thought about blocking the neighbor on the phone for a long time now. I did it once. I unblocked her because we had a friendly interaction, and then I reblocked her. So trust those instincts. Okay, excuse me. Thank you. But don't lash out, right? Just kind of go away quietly. Or you can make a commitment to yourself, right? So like this person upstairs that wants me to watch their dogs. Okay, well, it's a lot of money, so I'll take the income, but I'm just going to stop asking her to go do stuff, right? And I'm not going to get my hopes up when she texts that she wants something that's not going to be transactional, right? Don't block unless necessary. I think you'll find, like on the phone, don't block people on the phone unless it's truly necessary. And don't do it on a whim. It'll give you a greater sense of mastery because the blocking really starts here. It doesn't really start on the phone. So if you can block them out up here without having to do it on the phone, I think you may find a greater sense of mastery. Don't chase people is sort of my last. Don't chase and don't accuse, right? So don't accuse people, you don't like me, all this other stuff. Like, who cares? Like, fuck off. Like, they can go fuck themselves. And don't chase people, you know? Do you want somebody who doesn't want you? I don't think so, right? So don't chase people to be friends with you. You put a feeler out there, maybe one time they might be like, hey, I'm too busy for that. If you ask again or even a third time and they're still saying, I'm not sure, you can put them in the flake zone. My name's Jen. You've been watching BPD Woman. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I'd love to hear your comments below. And again, until next time, in everything you do, please be effective. Bye-bye.